Hello and welcome to another free code session. My name is Jason Bach, and I've learned things. I've learned a couple of things. This has been actually more frustrating than I originally thought it would, but that's kind of this library with nullable reference types. It seems like it's been quite an adventure to just get this thing to work at times. So where are we at with AllowNull? Well, I did some digging. And what I found out was, let's say I have this. Okay. Well, I then wrote this code that looks at the type, gets the property, and says, how much custom attributes do you have? How many do you have? I look at this property. How many do you have? And then you may be looking at this and going, why did you go there? Well, let's run the code. And you'll see, if you can actually see it, that the second case, we don't get anything back. But in the third case, we do. Okay. Why is this? Well, AllowNull, if you allow me to look at it, it's too early for jokes. You look at its attribute usage, it can be on a property, a field, or a parameter. Okay. But this is what threw me. I looked at ILSpy, and what happens is the property is actually put on the parameter for the setter, because, I don't know if you knew this or not, but properties are actually just syntactic sugar over methods. There's actually a get underscore allow null value and a set underscore allow null value, and the setter takes one parameter. Okay. So what this does is it basically says the parameter to the setter gets the attribute. And when I looked up information about allow null, there's these other nullable context, not nullable context attributes, but attributes that are related to NRTs. So this one says that, well, the attribute is only applicable to the setter of the property. But it's not obvious to me in the sense that, hey, I put this property here, this attribute here, and I put that attribute there. They're attributes on the property. Why does this get put on the setter? Because then now you have to handle this special case where if I want to put the attribute on a type, like the case I'm running into, I have to go look at the setter, assuming that it's there, go look at the parameters, and look for custom attribute data, and if allow null exists on it, lift it up to the property, because you can't do this. So I thought, well, let's take that off and let's put it on the setter, just like what we were seeing in ILSpy, but that doesn't work. You will get a compiler error if you try to do this. You have to put it on the property. And then the compiler does magic with this attribute so that it actually throws it on the parameter of the setter. I think this is wrong. I don't like this at all. I think this is very confusing. It makes a reflection scenario harder than it should be. Now, I have not done this with looking at the source, because in the source it's on the property. The compilation phrase, it's going to put it on the parameter. So it's kind of interesting as to how this actually works. And I think it's not wrong, it's just utterly confusing. Okay. And I'm kind of curious. This is what, the new line property? Yeah. It doesn't even, well, it doesn't show attribute information. Okay. But if you look at the source code for it. They put it on the parameter as you have to. Okay, so you don't have a, that's where you've got to put it. So I sat there and I went, oh my God, I'm going to have to I'm going to have to special case this, and at least for AllowNull to do this. Now, when I get into source generators, one thing I've kept in mind is all of this is going to change. What I'm doing right now is all based on reflection. Okay, I generate code, but the generated code is based on what I'm reading about a type and its members via reflection. So all of that is going to have to change. Okay. And in this case, it may get better in that, oh, I look at the property, I see it has AllowNull, I just have it come along for the ride. And when I compile it, the compiler will do the quote-unquote right thing and put it on the setter, specifically the parameter of the setter. But there may be other things that happen with either the syntax tree or the semantic model that will crop up. It will be a fun ride. But this is taking far longer than I ever expected it to. Okay, so what I need to do is get back into rocks and somehow figure out how in the world, well, this is not helpful because this test is going to look at the, yes. Okay, so this will work, but I can't do it on the property. I'm going to have to do it on the setter because on the subclass, it's going to have it being put on the parameter of the setter. Okay, because that's what we're doing here, and it actually ends up being put there. Okay, so the problem still though is when I try to do this. No, not that. That I don't care about. This already has a list. So properties generator here, yeah. So this is where I can't just say get all the data. Okay. I have to somehow say for indexers. God, what does indexers do? I have no idea. Because indexers, yeah, what do you do with the indexer and a getter and a setter? One thing at a time. Okay. So the normal one, we basically have to join var property attributes. It's going to be that. Okay. Now we need var. Now we need to say var setter method is equal to base property. Does it has set? No. Set value. That's how I can write. I don't know if that's the same thing as, well, we want to get the public one. And it's interesting because it's actually here, like it's saying, oh yeah, that will, okay, now it does. Now it gets the information. If setter method is that, can't wait till we can say, we can't do this now, but apparently in C# now we're going to be able to say is not. Yeah, it doesn't even know what that is right now. I think it's all confused, but that is coming. Okay, so now what we need to do is to see if a setter method, we can assume that there will be a parameter. I don't know of any edge case that you would not have that. So we're going to say property attributes add. What is this? I thought this was an oh no, we want to do that first. Oh, for God's sakes. because it's an I list. You suck. No, we can't do an add range anyway because, yeah, okay. So var setter param attributes is equal to setter method get parameters. And we're going to assume we're going to get the 0th one, get custom attribute data. Okay. For each var in that, what we're going to say is if setter param attribute it's the type of thing is equal to type of AllowNull attribute. I'm so glad they added that refactoring in. That just puts in the using statement for you. That's so nice. Okay. You know what? We could do this a little cleaner. AllowNull data. We're going to say that, and then we're going to say, I don't think you can put multiple on. Can you? Though we should just say first or default because that would be, come on. I don't remember what the default is. That's fine because we shouldn't be relying upon that anyway. Okay. So I want to see his first or default. Attribute type is equal to type of AllowNull attribute. Okay. If is that, then we say property add AllowNull attribute. Okay, now that works. Now, is this really going to let me do what I want it to do? So, we're going to find out. So, what we want to do is take these property attributes, and that's what we want to do there. Okay, now, I think that in this case, like I said, we get the property, we get the set method. You just say set method, yeah, because we know in this case there is going to be a set method. Get parameters 0. And of course, we're going to have to we're going to have to bang that. No, yes, because the code that we have generated should have put an AllowNull attribute on there, so it should have ended up on the parameter. Let's call this set parameter to be a little bit more cleaner. Did that work? Let's assume it's not. Let's assume it's not going to work. And yeah, it failed. Of course it failed. Jerk. Collection Oh, you son of a... Fine. Oh my God. So the list, like you get a contract back that says, yeah, I guess now you have to look and say, oh, is it read only? Because if it's read only, then it's a... Dear God. To list. This feels so memory bad, but I don't have a choice, I don't think. And then that would work. And actually here we can say no, because, yeah, never mind. I'm being stupid. Little victories. Little victories. That's what I wanted to see. Okay? Make with allow null attribute. Yes. Which is happening in all of these. So really, if I think about this, what I want to do is let's make a separate interface. Public interface. I use allow null. Okay? And then we're going to put this on that, all the way up here. I like that. That's where name of comes in nice, because okay. So much better, because then that isolates that and we don't have shared state. Nice little tidbit in tests. Never have shared state. Okay, so now let's run all of them. Let's see if we get still one error on the one, but I think this should take care of either 2 or 4 of the errors, or something like that. And it looks like just one failed, which is the one that we typically see fail. So let's now run this and see how many failures we're getting. 4, that's better. That's actually, that's good. We have reduced the amount of, so let's come over to here and say 124, figured out how to get allow on property. Okay, so we grabbed these, right? Yes. So now this is parameter cast error must have a non-null value when exiting with true. Okay. We have time. We have time. So let's see if we can open this. We can get rid of text writer, although that should have changed, right? Yeah, now we're going to see. Look at that. Would you look at that? Would you look at that? Would you look at that? There we go. Does exactly what we want it to do. Yeah. Nice. All right. So let's go to Rockeye Castable. This is at 29. And this is because why? Where do I want to go? Is the system runtime comparison? Okay. Blah, blah, blah. So, yes, this is because cast error. Oh, wait a minute. I do have it on there. Okay, let's read the, let me get rid of text writer because we're good with that one. Parameter cast error must have a non-null value when exiting with true. Oh, this could get ugly. This could get really ugly. This could get super ugly. And by super I mean public class castable. You don't know what castable is, do you? Huh. Well, that's funny. You really don't? Well, it's a public interface. System Runtime Compiler Services. Don't you know what that is? System Runtime Compiler Services. iCastable. Oh, great. You don't know what that is. Well, that's fine. Whatever. Whatever. Public interface. Blah. Because I'm too early in the morning to give a crap. Okay, so bool is true. And we're going to put a not null when true. Initialize a out object value. Okay, so now we're going to have a blah, which inherits from my blah. We're going to implement it. And we're going to say return false. So what does that do? All parameter value must be assigned. Well, we could say value is equal to default. Because that's what I think I'm doing in my code, right? So not null specifies when a method returns, parameter not be null, even if the corresponding type allows it. What happens if I say true here? That's okay. That's okay too. What am I doing wrong here? Does it have to be exception? That would be weird. Okay. I am confused. Parameter cast error. Okay, this is a warning. Well, the other ones were warnings too, right? Yeah, because I treat warnings as errors, so. And this is the same. Parameter cast error must have a non-null value when exiting with true. Well, it declares that. I wonder, is it getting confused because, well, not confused, but is it because there's something in here that is a delegate? Let's throw that into the mix. Delegate. Bool, handle. So we can make this back to object. I don't think that's the. But what delegate bool, handle value. And we are going to declare it the same, same way. Because that's what that does. Okay? And then we're just going to say public blah, taking in a handle value, handler, this dot handler is equal to handler. Okay, generate me the props. Okay, well now we're going to say return this dot handler, passing in the out of the value. That is correct. Well, that didn't really help either. Our handler bool return value. Is it our result is equal to new random next of 2 mod 0 is equal to 0. If that's true, then we're going to do this. Else we're going to say, what else could be? Var flip. Just trying to get it so I can understand. Return result. Now we get it. Okay. Because I think what it's saying is, if it's true, then we have to provide a value. So this gets disgustingly hairy in a short amount of time. So I think I have to look to say if a parameter is an out and it has a NotNullWhen, and who knows how many other attributes have this case where you need to make sure it's there. Or when it's false. I mean, I don't think this matters because it could be it's this case where if you're handling a method where a parameter has a NotNullWhen, we somehow have to create an instance. So let's it's not smart enough to. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do some off-camera dive deepingness to figure out what exactly I'm gonna have to do here, because this is obviously not the right thing. But I'm not really sure how to get this to to go away. I just say show potential. Yeah, just suppress it. There you go. That gets rid of the problem now, doesn't it? Yeah, I want to solve this here, but I'm not going to be able to do so. I'm going to have to do some off-camera stuff, and I got to get to the day job. So I'm just going to put this in here. Still a problem. Okay, so we need to somehow get this to go away. And I'm not really sure how I'm going to do that in my code. So stop, Jason. Don't look at the code anymore. Just don't read it. Don't try to figure this out in this episode, because you're not going to be able to do it. You're just going to go over too long. So thank you all for watching. Leave comments and questions below. See you in the next episode.